already. Perfect, awesome, amazing, and perfect. So I gotta sneeze off the bat. I sneeze 800 times per video. I don't get it. And now I'm going blind because I sneezed. Alright, you guys. There's a little bit of a difference here. So we're here going to be talking about week 1 of the NFL and my predictions for week 2. So there were some pretty big upsets in week 1. Steelers over the Bills, Saints over the Packers, almost the Cowboys over the Buccaneers, Raiders over the Ravens. So good game. Good games. Texans over Jags. I mean, very good games here. So let's talk about the first game here. Steelers versus Bills. I said Bills were going to win. Bills lost. Steelers won. That game was a mess. I have notes here. That game was a complete mess. I mean, for the Bills at least, against a team like the Steelers, you'd think, they were coming. I have fucking like a sore on the back of my tongue. It's really great. Yeah, you'd think like the Bills coming in, you thought their offense was going to be really strong, really heavy. I mean, watching the first play of the game, that run, or the kick return, fucking amazing. I thought they were just going to blow out the Steelers. I think a lot of people did. But the Steelers stayed strong. Their offense did not look great. The Steelers' offense did not look great. They're Ben Roethlisberger doesn't look good, really, and I think Chase Claypool got injured too. So they'd really just got to thank the defense for that win, and especially T.J. Watt. What a beast! He is a fucking beast. He's a legend. He was a fucking legend. But yeah, I think this is just a fluke for the Bills. I don't think they're going to be a bad team this year. I think the Steelers just showed up and they looked better than everyone thought they were going to be. And so, they beat the Bills in a very surprising game, and the Bills had a lot of mistakes. It was like there are a lot of games like that. There are some games where it's like, oh, we just needed. If that one thing didn't happen, we would have won. There's other games, like the Seahawks-Bills game last year. Like, the Seahawks, they messed up 30 different things throughout that game. And any one of those things could have changed the outcome of the game. But they messed up, Same with the Cowboys-Buccaneers game. Cowboys did so many things right, but they also did so many things wrong. And even if they didn't do one of those things, they would have won the game. That's what happened with this Bills game. They just did so much wrong that it didn't turn out right for them. So it's week 1. I get it. They're just gonna have to. The Bills are gonna face some pretty tough teams coming up, and they're gonna have to just get accustomed to tough defenses, because that's what they're going to be facing. So really, really happy that the Steelers won, honestly. But yeah, that was a fun game to watch too. Jaguars Texans. Wow, this was a game, huh? This one Texans won, and it was honestly amazing. Trevor Lawrence you can't blame it on him. I think he looked good. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in the draft at all. I never thought that. I think it's Trey Lance. I've said that so many times, and I will say it again, and I will continue to say it. But yeah, and Tyrod Taylor was a shock to us all. He really stepped up. I mean, he scored that, and especially how they were already winning with 37 seconds left in the game, and instead of just taking a knee or just trying to run the clock out, they went for another touchdown and they got it. It was amazing. And of course, last year Jaguars beat the Colts in week 1 and then lost their next 15 games. So you could make the argument that's what's going to happen with the Texans. They're going to go 1-16 now. But I think they played really well, surprisingly well. And the Jaguars defense just did not look good at all. I think Trevor Lawrence looked fine. I think he did fine for his NFL opener. I think he did fine. He's definitely got to improve, but I think he was definitely not he wasn't a problem in that game. I think it was most definitely their defense. Browns Chiefs, very, very good game here. I've seen a lot of people, and by a lot of people I mean Colin Cowherd, saying that it's Baker Mayfield's fault. He's saying that Baker Mayfield had the opportunity to be Patrick Mahomes and lead his team downfield. He's saying that he had the chance to go downfield and win for his team, and he didn't come through. But that's not on him. It's on Nick Chubb's fumble. Okay? It's on some one very questionable ref call, and one defensive play that they just let Hill slip by, and that is not on Baker Mayfield. I think he played outstanding the entire game. You look at Baker Mayfield, he's an elite quarterback. He is great, and you cannot blame Baker Mayfield for this loss. You're gonna lose to good teams, The Browns are an amazing team, top 5 team in the league, and you're gonna lose to good teams. That's gonna happen. If the Chiefs lost, they wouldn't have blamed Mahomes for that loss. They would have blamed the defense. Why aren't they blaming the defense here? I think the Browns played very, very well. And no other team this year is gonna have a fourth quarter lead against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. No one. No team. And the Browns did. And that's really huge. So I think that's a good look. Browns fans should be really happy. To 4-point differential. And they had Mahomes scrambling. I think they played really well. It's just, Baker Mayfield, the first 3 quarters, he looked great. He looked amazing. Elite quarterbacking skills, like I said. And I really like what's in store for the Browns. Then we got Dolphins-Patriots. I said the Dolphins would win. They won 17-16. It was really, I don't even know how I feel about this game. It was just, if the Dolphins had a better quarterback, they would have won by 20 points. And people are saying Mac Jones looks really good and he's better than Trevor Lawrence and stuff like that. No, he's not. Okay? The thing that happened with Mac Jones and why people say, yes, his stats are really great, they still have training wheels on him. Bill Belichick is keeping him under his wing. He's having Mac Jones. Mac Jones, he's afraid to go down the field. He's afraid to throw the ball past 20 yards. Okay? He's dumping short passes off, pass after pass after pass. Okay, Trevor Lawrence is better. Yeah, he threw some picks, but he was throwing them down the field. He was making good plays. He was taking chances. And that's one thing that Mac Jones doesn't do. He hasn't done it, and he's not going to do it until he feels comfortable in this league, which I don't know if that's going to happen this year. The Dolphins' defense looks solid. Their offense looked good. Other than Tua, I think they have everything in place. And the Patriots' defense did not. It really wasn't as impressive as I thought it was going to be. But Dolphins pull out 17-16, and Mac Jones I don't like him. I'm not a fan. Okay, then we got Ravens Raiders. This was a hell of a game. It was a really good game, just back and forth, back and forth. That's being a Seahawks fan. I know what Raiders fans were feeling during this game. But it was really good. I mean, they won in overtime, and then it was taken away, and then they fumbled it, and then they still won with another touchdown. They just looked really good. Defense was amazing, putting pressure on Lamar Jackson, and the Ravens O-line has crumbled. They were not looking too good out there on Monday night. And the Raiders pass rush looked really good. Questions about their secondary. But yeah, and Derek Carr is a great quarterback. Maybe not quite top 10, but almost. He's really good. He has what it takes to be a very strong playoff quarterback. And I think they could definitely be contenders this year after watching that game. And it could just be, week one. They're just, But I'm impressed. I'm impressed by that game, and I think the Raiders looked really good. I really like that. And Darren Waller is a beast, man. He's a beast. Vikings Bengals. This one. What the hell happened to the Vikings defense? What the hell happened to the Vikings defense? I don't get it. What happened? They were supposed to improve their defense, and their defense looked even worse. So I really don't know. I don't know why I put the headphones on every time when I don't need to hear anything. You could just hear me in my mic. I don't understand what happened to the Vikings defense. Joe Burrow looked really good. Offensive line, not really. But Joe Burrow looked really good. And yeah, they lost AJ Green, which sucks. But yeah, they looked really good, and to get that overtime win, that was great. That was really awesome. But the Vikings offense looked good. Adam Thielen looked good. Justin Jefferson looked good. Kirk Cousins is questionable, but the Vikings offense looked good. It was just their defense that was. I don't know what happened. I thought they were supposed to improve. They got Harrison Smith back, and they got Patrick Peterson, and they're just. I don't get it. All right, and I said the Vikings would win, so that's why I'm disappointed here. Then we got Seahawks Colts. I said the Seahawks would win. The Seahawks won. I thought it would be a closer game. I said the Seahawks were going to win 28-24. They won 28-16. But this game is really. It was fun as a Seahawks fan. Of course, it was fun to watch, but I'm not really sure what happened with the Colts. It's Carson Wentz looked pretty good. You cannot throw this loss on Carson Wentz. He looked pretty good. Their offensive line was non-existent, and their defense was just sucked. Of course, they didn't have Xavier Rhodes, who was their top player. I personally think he was their top player on their defense last year. But man, it was just they weren't good. They let up. I mean, that 69-yard touchdown from Russ to Lockett. That how could they let that up? You know, it just. Also, I didn't talk about how in the Ravens Raiders game, the game-winning touchdown, the defender had a chance to jump up and knock the ball away, but he gave up and just stopped. So that's not okay. But yeah, the Colts defenses did not look like what. And Chris Carson ran all over them. So it's not even like it was just their secondary. It was everything. They just couldn't. They couldn't contain the offense. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just that the Seahawks offense was overpowering or that the Colts defense just isn't what it was last year. Because I don't get it. And Carson Wentz looked fine, but let's talk about that Seahawks pass rush. That was great. That was fun to watch. They were looking really solid. And Jonathan Taylor had nothing. Nyheim Hines had nothing. They had almost nothing through the air. There was really nothing could get past the Seahawks defense, which is really, really cool. And even the score looks closer than the game actually was because they scored that one touchdown, but by the time they scored that, it was already way too late. So it was Chargers football team. This one, I took a lot of notes on this one. The Chargers, they both looked good. Ryan Fitzy got hurt, which I hate. But honestly, Taylor Heineke looked better than Fitzpatrick, I think. But yeah, the Chargers had such a strong passing game. I was seeing almost no mistakes. Herbert looked excellent. There was just back to back. They were just fucking throwing it down the field. And I don't know what Washington is going to do with Fitzy getting injured. I think Taylor Heineke is a fine quarterback. But they were relying on that run game with Antonio Gibson, and it looked really good too. Not as strong of a passing game as the Chargers, but their run game looked great. What else did I write here? Oh yeah, I put Taylor Heineke better than Fitz ? But yeah, Washington's O-line is very questionable where they stand. They had some good blocks, but they just weren't looking that great off the pass rush. Their run blocking was really good, but their pass blocking was not good at all. And Logan Thomas played very well. I think he looks really good. They got a lot of. They have Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas, and Taylor Heineke. I think and Antonio Gibson. I think they're all good players, and they could work with that. They just need to improve that O-line. Terry McLaurin did have a couple no-effort plays. Like there were some passes that were thrown to him that were within arm's reach, and he didn't even reach for them, which was a little bit disappointing to see. And Austin Eckler did get injured, which is a big blow to the Chargers. I think he pulled his hamstring or something. He's questionable to return. I don't know if he will. But I mean, both teams. I just think both teams look really good, and I really love Justin Herbert and that passing game. Jets Panthers. Do I really even need to talk about this one? The Panthers are great. Panthers are awesome. Sam Darnold the Jets had no chance to get revenge or to stop his revenge game. You know, Sam Darnold was amazing. I really loved what he did. And Robbie fucking Anderson. The Panthers look really good. And their defense is looking good. And Christian McCaffrey is good. And Mekhi Becton, I think he's only out 6 to 8 weeks, which is better from what it looked like. But man, and Zach Wilson, kid's got an arm. Kid's got a fucking arm. Zach Wilson, I never liked him. I thought he was going to be shitty. He was really good. I really like him. But it's just, it's the Jets, and they don't have a good offense, and they don't have a good defense. They just, there's not much they could do here, and I like the Panthers as possible playoff contenders this year. Cardinals-Titans, what a goddamn game. Kyler Murray should have been player of the week, or offensive player of the week. And Chandler Jones had 5 sacks. 5 sacks, bro. 5 sacks. Oh, man. The Cardinals just looked like the perfect team. They look like the number 1 team this week. I mean, that was until you watched the Rams game. But they looked just outstanding. Their offense was amazing. Kyler Murray, 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns for Kyler Murray. And, I mean, no one could even touch him. And this Titans defense is really, really weak. They really suck. But still, to win 38-13 against what was a playoff team last year, that is insane. And their defense, I didn't know about their secondary. I didn't know how they were going to do. They did great, and they smothered Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had nothing on them. They were just, Cardinals overall just looked great. And I think this is partly because the Texans' defense just got even worse. But the Cardinals, man, what a damn team. It's amazing. It's really awesome. Then we got Broncos, Giants. This game, Broncos had this from the start. The Giants, Daniel Jones did what Daniel Jones does. Didn't look good. Threw some shitty passes. Fumbled. And he didn't look good. Their offensive line is bad. And the Broncos' defense was better than the Giants' defense. The Giants just, their offense is worse than last year, which I don't know how, and their defense is somehow worse than last year. And the Broncos' defense looks amazing. Teddy Bridgewater looks amazing. The Broncos improved on both sides of the ball. The Giants didn't. I mean, that's really what happened here. Then we got Cowboys, Buccaneers. What a great game. What a great game. Buccaneers won, 31-29? But it was, wow. Last time I said that the Cowboys were going to amount to nothing and that they were my least favorite team in the league. I have since changed my mind in the past week. Holy shit. Holy cow. Boy. They were good. See what I did there? But Dak Prescott, I've never really watched Dak Prescott. I didn't know how he played. I never paid attention to him. Watching him, it was amazing. He looked great. Coming off of 2 injuries, he looked amazing. I did not think he would look good at all. Ezekiel Elliott didn't fumble 18 times, which was awesome. The Buccaneers had 4 turnovers. The Cowboys' defense is still questionable, but 4 turnovers. They looked good. I thought they looked really good, and they only lost because Tom Brady exists. So, and the Buccaneers really have to work on that defense. They really have to work on that defense because it's not what it was last year, and their secondary has some serious questions there. Okay, now we got Eagles, Falcons. This game, I'm surprised, honestly. I didn't think the Eagles were going to play well at all, and they did. They played great. Jalen Hurts looked amazing. Their defense was better than I've ever seen it, and the Falcons just got smothered. The score wasn't that bad. It's not like it was a blowout, but it kind of was if you watched the game. Matt Ryan just couldn't do anything. Kyle Pitts, good tight end. Good tight end. Not a good first round pick though. They should have taken a defender, man. I don't know what they were thinking. But yeah, the Eagles really surprised me. I thought they were going to be winless until like week 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever. But they surprised me. We got 49ers Lions. 49ers looked really good until late. 49ers looked good. They were up 41-17, and then it was 41-33, and they almost lost because the Lions almost scored again. So it was 49ers defense disappointment from what I really thought it was going to be. And apparently they're just as injury prone as last year. Let's take a look at this. 49ers injury report. They lost Raheem Mostert and what's his name? See that they're not even putting it on here. Yeah. They're not even putting it on here. They lost Raheem Mostert. And they're not putting it on the injury thing? Really? Okay. Well, they lost Raheem Mostert and Jason Verrett, which Jason Verrett is a huge loss. Let's see. Torn ACL. Torn ACL for Jason Verrett. Yeah, they're so injury prone, and I just they're really not. But it's just this is so injury prone. Now I don't think they're going to be a playoff team after watching how bad they did in that game and all the injuries. I don't know about a playoff team. The Lions, Jared Goff looked really good. He looked really good, which I never said that when he was with the Rams. I never said that. But he looked really good on the Lions. Maybe it's because he went from being the worst player on a team to being one of the best players on a team. But he looked really great, and he almost had some game-winning drives, which I really liked. So I like the Lions now, and I like Jared Goff. Packers Saints, holy shit! Holy shit! What happened? Aaron Rodgers sucks! It's the mullet. He sucks. I've never in my life have I seen a worse performance by Aaron Rodgers. Colin Cowherd said it. He could have thrown every single pass into the dirt, and he would have had a better passer rating than he did. It was embarrassing. 38-3. They lost. And Packers fans are like, well, the Buccaneers lost 38-3 to the Saints and then won the Super Bowl. That doesn't matter. The Saints when the Saints beat the Buccaneers, they had Drew Brees and Michael Thomas. And you cannot. They didn't even have Michael Thomas in this game. They didn't have Michael Thomas. Jameis Winston threw 5 touchdowns, or he scored 5 touchdowns, and he threw less than 150 yards. How do you even as a defense, how do you even let that happen? Less than 150 yards and 5 touchdowns. How do you do that? And Alvin Kamara wasn't even a big factor. They didn't even really use him in that game. The Saints were so efficient on offense, and their defense was. Aaron Rodgers couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything, and I don't know if that's like how it's going to be for the rest of the year. If this was just he's there was a lot of commotion with him leaving. He thought he was going to leave, and then he's still here. I don't know if he's just stressed out, and that's what it is, or if he's intentionally trying to sabotage the Packers because they wouldn't trade him, or because they won't, Is what I see. I see there are two kinds of people, two kinds of quarterbacks. There's Russell Wilson, who there was a little bit of commotion, said he might leave, and because he didn't have an offensive line, he was getting sacked too much. Then Pete Carroll went out. He made some moves. He signed a tight end, Gerald Everett. He got Stone Forsythe. He got Gabe Jackson from the Raiders. Pete Carroll, they did what they had to do to make Russell Wilson happy. And Russ understood, they don't have a lot of money because they're paying all these players already, and they did what they could. And Russ understood that. Everything got situated. With Aaron Rodgers, that's not it. He complains. He doesn't have anything. Then what do? Last year, they draft a quarterback in the first round. Then this year, they draft a defender in the first round. And they're not answering him. So he's so frustrated, and it's clearly he's not. Russell Wilson focuses on the bright side of things. Aaron Rodgers doesn't. And so that's why I think that's why he played so poorly, because he's so frustrated with what he doesn't have that he's not focusing on what he does have that he can use to his advantage. And it's really sad, because to go win MVP and then lose 38-3 is just. I didn't mention the Browns' last 2 games that they've played have been against the Chiefs. Their last regular games, and they lost both times. Bears-Rams. I've never seen Matt Stafford more happy. How funny would it be if you can't even hear me talking right now? Let's hear it. Let's listen just for the hell of it. If you can't even hear me talking right now. Yeah, we're good. Let's hear it. All right. Let's listen just for the hell of it. Yeah. I've never seen Matt Stafford more happy, and let's hear it. All right. The Rams look good. So, they were firing on all cylinders. They just looked fantastic. And I've never seen the Rams look firing that all cylinders. They just looked fantastic. And I've never seen the Rams. Anyways, for what I was saying, they were firing on all cylinders. They looked really good, really amazing. And I like it. Matt Stafford looked really amazing. He's never played a game like that in his life. That was the best game he's ever had. And it was one game with the Rams. They looked amazing. I'm really happy for the Rams. I think I'm glad they got rid of Jared Goff, and I'm really happy for Matt Stafford. The Bears, on the other hand, defense not good, and Andy Dalton. Why would they not start Justin Fields or not put him in? They put him in so he could score a touchdown. That was it. And the red rifle is not it. He's not it at all. He's just not good. And you know what I think? My theory is that I think that's why they drafted Justin Fields, because they're like, their team hasn't been doing good. They think they might get fired. So what do? They go out, they draft a QB in the first round. So then, they're thinking, elsewhere. They might have other plans. Let's see what they could do to improve this team. And the longer they sit Justin Fields on the bench, the more possibility there is. The more, okay, well, we still have this option. If they put Justin Fields in week 1 and he sucks, then it's, they have no options. Also, the Vikings are number 1 in the NFC North. I don't know why it's doing that. I really don't. That's because that's not right. The See, now it just randomizes them for no reason. It's not how that works. The Vikings are number 1 in the NFC North. Weren't the Vikings first? What? They're like, let's go to conference. Yes, Texans are on top. Good. Okay. Okay. Well, also don't get how the Saints beat the Packers 38-3, and the Buccaneers beat the Cowboys 31-29. How are the Buccaneers ahead? I don't understand it. What was I even saying? Oh yeah, so it's like they're not putting Justin Fields in because they put him in week 1 and he's shitty. Then it's like, oh, well now we have nowhere else to go from here. Let's rethink our head coach and our offensive coordinator, you know? So I think that's why, but they're not looking good. They have to put Justin Fields in, or else they got nothing. Now, moving on to my predictions for week 2. Texans versus Browns. Texans looked really good. That's not going to apply here against this defense, and they don't have a defense. So Browns are going to smother them. Blowout win for the Browns. We got Bills Dolphins. It was just one game, and this is going to be a Bills win. I don't care if it's in Miami. This is a Bills win here. Dolphins are going to fall short, you know. I don't think Tua is good. I don't think he's good, and I really don't think he's good. Broncos are going to take this win here. Their defense is great, and I don't know how. If Trevor Lawrence throws picks against the Texans defense, he's not going to do okay against the Broncos defense, and I don't think the Jaguars defense is existent. It's not there. There's nothing there. And Teddy Bridgewater is just going to plow right through them. Patriots at Jets. Patriots are going to take this win here. The Jets, like I said, their offensive line is trash. Their defense is trash. Zach Wilson looks good. I just don't see anything they could do. Mac Jones versus Zach Wilson. This is a Mac Jones win. As much as I don't like Mac Jones, it's his game and it's his win, because they're just the better team. Raiders versus Steelers. Now I went with, if we looked here, I went with week 2. I said the Raiders were gonna win, and I said that before the Raiders beat the Ravens. So I think that was a bold prediction, and I'm gonna stick with that prediction. Raiders on the road win in Pittsburgh. Because yes, the Steelers have a defense, but the Raiders' defense is, I think, better than the Bills' defense, and Ben Roethlisberger just doesn't have anything. He can't do anything against this defense. I think Derek Carr is going to step up, and they're going to look really good. They're going to look really phenomenal. See, this 2-0, and they're still behind the Chiefs at 1-0. How does that work? We got Chiefs, Ravens. It's gonna be a Chiefs win, man. This is gonna be a Chiefs win, on the road against the Ravens. I think. I mean, they beat the Browns, and the Browns are better than the Ravens. But if they could get Patrick Mahomes can get past the Browns defense, he could definitely get past the Ravens defense. And the Chiefs defense didn't look that great. They need Honey Badger back. They need him back. When is he going to come back? Tyrann Mathieu. When is he coming back? Caught COVID. Okay, when will Tyrann Mathieu return? Frank Clark returned, that's good. Oh, Tyrann Mathieu's return. Okay, they got him back, which is good. I think that's good. Yeah, I think. What was that stat? Jalen Hurts has had more like 250 or 350 yard games than Lamar Jackson, and he's had 5 starts. Then we got Bengals at Bears. I'm giving this one to the Bears. It's going to be a very, very, very close game. Very close game. 1, 2, 3 point difference here, and I just think it's going to come to if they start Justin Fields, it's a definite win. They roll with Andy Dalton, I have them winning barely. I think A-Rob is gonna stand out in this game, and the Bengals defense they can't really stop David Montgomery or Allen Robinson. I don't think they don't look good. So we'll roll with this. Then we got Rams at Colts. I'm gonna give this a Rams win. I think not by much. I think the Colts are gonna be improved from last week. I think their defense is really gonna. Is Xavier Rhodes? I should do this research before I start. And Xavier Rhodes. Not sure how long Rhodes might be out. Okay. Well, we'll see if he's back. If so, it'll be fun to watch him play. But yeah, I don't think if they can't do anything against the Seahawks, they're not gonna do anything against Matt Stafford, and they're definitely not gonna push anything against the Rams defense. Not at all. Cowboys versus Chargers. This is going to be a really good game. Both have such strong passing games. And their run games are and they have Austin Eckler out for the Chargers, so that's questionable. I think it just comes down this is honestly, I think this is the game of the week. I really do. And I just think that Dak Prescott is going to pull through just because he has that little bit of seniority. So he knows. I said senior. The seniority. Just so he knows, how to handle situations better. I think he's better off than Justin Herbert. I'm going to give this a slight win to the Cowboys. All right. Then we got Titans in Seattle. Seattle, you don't want to mess with Seattle in the first half of the year. The second half of the year, we might suck. But the first half of the year, you don't want to mess with Seattle. I think with that offense, they're going to have it's going to be just as hard for them to contain Russ than it is for them to contain Kyler. They're not. I don't think the Titans are going to have any. They're not going to look good at all. Their defense is weak, and they're going to put up more points than they did last week, I think, against the Seahawks defense. I mean, they got Ryan Tannehill, Julio Jones. Why can I not think of their other receiver? Why can't I think of their other receiver? The one. Oh my God! This is what is going on with the Titans receivers. A.J. Brown. For the love of God, how can I not think of that? Oh, they got Josh Reynolds. I don't know, why couldn't I think of it? But yeah, with Julio Jones and A.J. Brown, I don't know how good the Seahawks defense is going to be. I think this is going to be a close game. But it's still going to go to the Seahawks at Lumen Field, especially with their pass rush. Nah, forget about it. Speaking of forget about it, we got the New York Giants taking on the Washington football team. This is going on tonight in about 3 hours. Uh, this one's good. This is Washington obviously has the Washington Wildcards obviously have the better defense and the better offense. So I think this is going to be close. I could see this going either way. I could see this being an upset. I am going to give it to the Washington football team for right now, but I think it could go either way. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, this is probably going to be my favorite game to watch this week. I think the football team versus the Giants. That's untrue because the Seahawks game is my favorite game to watch every week. But anytime I say my favorite game, exclude the Seahawks Titans. It's going to be football team and Giants and the Cowboys Chargers game. What time is it? 4:25 on Sunday. That is a game I'm going to watch. Well, actually, no, because I'll be watching the Seahawks-Titans game instead. 4:25 Eastern, is that correct? Because I don't think it is. Let me check. Oh, yeah, 4:25. Derrick Henry and Chris Carson both ranked top 5 in rushing yards since 2018. Did I not mention Derrick Henry when I was talking about the Titans offense? Okay, yeah. And then we got, okay. The Giants have won 4 straight games against Washington. Is that true? Yeah, it is. Because they swept them before. Yeah. Alright. Wow, all of these are... They're just... Giants won 4 straight games versus Washington. Patriots won 10 straight games versus Jets. Jaguars lost 16 straight games. Bills won 5 straight games versus Miami. The Colts are 5-0 in games following a loss in 2020. So they've never had 2 losses in a row. Okay. Philadelphia is scored over 21 points in 11 straight games versus San Francisco. 6 of the last 8 matchups versus the Raiders and the Steelers have been decided by 3 points or fewer, which is probably going to happen this time, but that's such a weird stat. Bears QB Andy Dalton facing former team. Okay. Cleveland is 5-0 following a loss. New Orleans won 4 straight games versus Carolina. Tom Brady 8-0 career record versus Atlanta, including playoffs. We know this. Vikings Cardinals 8-time Pro Bowler Patrick Peterson facing his former team. Chargers have won 4 of the last 5 games versus Dallas. Patrick Mahomes 11-0 record, 35 pass touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his career in September. Aaron Rodgers 8-0 at home on Monday Night Football. Cool. Anyways, so Brady said, "I think I can play until 50." No, you can't. You can't play football when you're 50 years old. Breaking news: Tom Brady's 45th birthday is less than 12 months away. How is that breaking news? Breaking news. In 1 year, he will be exactly 1 year older. How is that breaking news? I don't get it. Also, in less than 12 months, you could just say a year. Breaking news. His birthday will be in less than a year. Of course you can say that. You can always say that someone's birthday is less than 12 months away. Unless it's their birthday today, you can say that their birthday is less than 12 months away. That's not... You're just not even saying words. His 46th or 45th birthday is less than 12 months away. Okay. Tom Brady's birthday. His birthday is August 3rd. This was published September 16th. It's less than 11 months away, actually. I don't... Washington football team edges the Giants. Well, now I'm definitely watching this one. Anyways, so let's go 49ers, Eagles. This is going to be, you could say it's an upset, but not really, because the Eagles are going to win this. They're in Philly. They're at home. The 49ers defense is not good. They don't have Jason Verrett. And they're not going to be good. Their defense isn't going to be good. They're so injury prone. And the Eagles, Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, dream team. Boston Scott. The Eagles are just going to run right over them. And the Eagles are going to take this win. Okay. Saints versus Panthers. This one, Panthers are at home against the Saints. This is going to be a close game. I'm going to give this one to the Saints, just because I don't think the Panthers' run defense is that good that they could stop Alvin Kamara. But it's going to be a close one. They also have Christian McCaffrey, so it could go either way. We got Falcons, Buccaneers. This one I'm going to give to the Bucks for obvious reasons. The Falcons looked shitty against the Eagles. They're going to look shitty against the Bucks. Vikings, Cardinals. This one, I think I would have said, what did I say here? I said Vikings. I would have said Vikings, but that was before week 1. I saw how the Cardinals played. I didn't think the Cardinals' defense was going to be good, and it was. I thought the Vikings' defense was going to be good, and it wasn't. This one I'm going to give a win to the Cardinals. I could still see the Vikings winning this. I really, really could, but I'm going to give this one to the Cardinals. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. Lions, Packers. I'm giving this one to the Packers. They're at home in Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers doesn't lose to the Lions. That's just not something he likes doing. And now they have Jared Goff, so it could be an upset, but I really don't think it's going to be. And so these are my picks for this week. Let's compare to last week when I made these predictions. Last week, nothing changed here. Nothing. The only things that changed here was I had the Vikings over the Cardinals, which I switched. I had 49ers over Eagles. I switched. I had Panthers over Saints, which I switched. And I had Chargers over Cowboys, which I switched. Other than that, there's remaining pretty much the same. Let's look at my week 3 just for ha-has. Okay, we had Steelers, Bengals, Dolphins over Raiders, Texans over... Why did I pick the Texans over Panthers? Okay. Bills over Browns over Bears, Cardinals over Jaguars, Ravens over Lions, Patriots over Saints. Okay. Falcons over Giants, Rams over Bucks, Vikings over Seahawks. Vikings over Seahawks, that's a funny one. Alright. Well, cool. So I like this. I like this a lot. And I'm going to see the scenario. The real deal. Week by week predictions. Save it. Cool. Well, this has been this video, guys, and I'm gonna go watch the Thursday night football game. So I'll see y'all later. Peace out, man. This has been a good video.